How's it going, guys? My name is Tavarish, and you're joining me on another late night of me working on my own cars. But I have a really big garage update for you guys today. I bought another Ferrari. Well, most of one. So if you guys are new to the channel, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoy it. I'm enjoying the view right here. Don't look at this part of the car. This is gonna be the saving grace of my Ferrari F355 project. Because as you know, the OGs in the audience, the ones that have stuck around for quite a long time, that Ferrari had a little bit of fire damage. This is gonna be the yin to that Ferrari's yang. This I got from my friends at FerrParts. They're a exotic auto dismantler, and they have Lamborghinis, they have Bentleys, they have Ferraris. They have everything you need to essentially rebuild an exotic car. And they sent me this shell. Now this shell is not perfect. It needs some work, but what it does have is it has the structure, it has the roof, and it has these back pillars that is gonna make my Ferrari 355 Spider into the Berlinetta. And this has been in a crash. You can see that it's a little bit kinked right here, and I was a little bit worried about this. It's gonna need some body work. However, the body work ain't gonna be that bad because Ferraris and Lamborghinis in this era had very, very thin skins. This is basically just a piece of metal. There's no interior structure at all. The headliner is just glued, and this is so thin that I could just press, and it's already bending. Look how easily it's, okay, maybe I don't want to bend it that much, but it's already bending. This is definitely doable. I can figure this out, and I can graft it onto there. What I'm gonna have to do is I have to take off all the spot welds here, around here, inside there, and I believe around all the edges. And there are a few points where it bolts on. I believe that's a bolt right there. There's another one on the inside. So everything should fit onto that car. They are the same chassis after all. I'm not changing anything about the interior structure. This is actually a little bit more structurally rigid than that because that just doesn't have a roof. And also there's no roll protection in that car at all. So if that car gets in a rollover, you're dead. That's the only, you're just gonna die. So this is definitely gonna be the next thing that happens to that car. But in addition to the shell, I got a box full of goodies. And these goodies are, let's see, I actually have not opened this box. So we got a bunch of engine parts. So this is the intake. Got intake boxes right here. We're just gonna put it off to the side. These are probably very expensive. We have mass airflow sensors, okay. We have a full harness. These are left and right engine harnesses. That's really cool. Oh, awesome, awesome. So this is the lower intake manifolds. This is for, yeah, these are the throttle bodies. Oh, wow, that's awesome, okay. And I did not expect them to send me this, but they really helped out. This I'm definitely gonna need. Is the oil filter housing. Wow, wow, this is very, very helpful. So we have fans here. We have the stock air box. You can see that this is just a piece of plastic, but it comes up like this. Oh, that looks great. And I think there's another one in there as well. Yeah, it's right there at the bottom. This actually might be everything I need to get the car running. But in addition to all of that, I have a lot of interior pieces as well, including these seats, which are in really good condition. And I have 3 of them for some reason. So these do need a little bit of reconditioning, but I got 3, so I figured I'll just pick the best one and maybe get that one recovered. This one definitely doesn't need anything. I just think it needs a little bit of leather cleaner, and I think she'll be good to go. One of the biggest things that I really lucked out on is the fact that when FerrParts cuts one of these things, they cut it off with, I don't know, a plasma torch or something. It's actually a very clean cut. Might just be a Sawzall. This, the wiring harness, is left intact. Let me take all this stuff out. At least let me take the seat out so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so down here is the harness, and that goes from the engine bay all the way to the front fuse box. So it is all intact. There are no rips and definitely no fire damage, because if you look at my harness, it looks fine up until that point right there, and there's a lot of meltiness, and it's not very good at all. Plus, we're actually gonna make this OEM because I'm not using the Spider harness anymore. I'm gonna use a Berlinetta harness, which doesn't have any provisions for the Spider roof, which I'm not gonna need anyway. But even more lucky is the fact that I have these rear side windows. They are a little bit hard to find, and they do get expensive, so I'm lucky that I found both, and they're not cracked or anything. It is gonna be a little bit of a pain to take this out because this has some caulking on it, so I have to make sure not to damage that too much. But I think this should be able to come out before all this other stuff. I can graft this onto the other body. But the rear window I unfortunately do not have, but the rear window I can get in plexiglass, and it's inexpensive. All I need is the molding, and I think the molding is somewhere over there. So this should be a very straightforward swap as far as straightforward swaps go in terms of damaged Ferraris, but I should be able to put new stuff in, and I should be able to repurpose my old stuff. Now, moving along to this, a lot of you have been asking about this car. I don't want to give away too much about this car, but this is going to be a standalone episode for my channel. I'm going to do like a weekend build on this. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it with another YouTuber, but this was a race car that I want to save. It does have some history. This is going to be a build where at the end I sell it and give that money to charity. So it's going to be a charity build. I like doing that every once in a while, and also this doesn't need too much, but I just love the way it looks, and it's definitely going to be turning some heads, and it's also going to be a pretty good car to drive. So stay tuned for this car. But one project that I haven't done in a while is the Supra, and a lot of you have been asking about this. I'm actually waiting for a friend on this car. He is a Supra madman. He knows everything there is to know about these cars, and I want to basically get this car done in about a weekend. That includes standalone, that includes turbo, cylinder head, all the gaskets, a 6-speed manual transmission swap, a differential. That's going to be a lot of work, but I think we can just burn the midnight oil and get that done and have this car driving with a lot of power and making a lot of noise. So stay tuned for that. I know you guys have been asking about this a lot. I really do want to drive it. It is kind of growing on me. I wasn't a big Super fan before, but it is kind of growing on me. This, if you want to know more about this, go to the Wrench Everyday channel. This is Earl Leaker, our Z32 300ZX, and we have a V8 in there. This is getting swapped out. All the drivetrain is coming out, and we're putting it into that 300ZX, which is a 2-seater, and that is in a little bit better shape, except for the engine doesn't work. So check out the link in the description for the Wrench Everyday channel. That's my second channel, and you should check that build out because it's a lot of fun. I do it with my friend Andrew. But you guys have noticed this. You guys have noticed that there's a lot of dust on this car, this SL55. And to be honest, I left this thing on the back burner, and a lot of you have been asking about it. I am very sorry about not including this on my channel. This was the reason why a lot of you subscribed in the first place. And if you don't know, this was a car that I was going to do a manual swap on, and I still am going to do a manual swap. I got some renewed interest after I drove that 430 Scuderia with a manual transmission, and it just made sense in that car. In this car, I ran into some issues as far as the computer. There is going to be a little bit of, there might be some growing pains with this computer and a manual transmission, but this is going to go over there, and then we're going to take the transmission out, and that should be, well, we're going to see when we get there. I don't think that everything's going to work right off the bat, but I think something should work, and we should at least get a test drive. But I'm just really scared that the ABS and the braking system are all going to be kind of on the fritz, and this car has a drive-by-wire brake system. It's not like a regular brake system. So if that just starts not working, then I don't have any brakes in this car. So that's a big issue on a car like this. But please don't worry about this car. This is definitely going to get done. I haven't forgotten about it. I'm not selling it. I love this car. I love driving it, and I definitely want to get it painted and have all the body work done. And we're going to get it looking real nice real soon, right after I get done with this bad boy. It's being taken apart right now so I can take it to paint. The guys at the paint shop, they're not quite ready for it just yet. They're gonna be ready for it next week. So right now it's just chilling at my shop while I do other stuff. I'm just making sure that all the body panels are taken off to make it a lot easier for them to paint. Like this, I don't want them masking this off, so I just took off the body panel so they can do like a gloss black on here. Also, this is the original color of the car. Check that out. That's nice. So this car runs and drives great. I wager that it probably will need a clutch sometime in its life. It should be okay for the foreseeable future. And I am getting a new bumper in the next few weeks. So I'm gonna take that to the paint shop as well. Right now, it kind of looks really, really bad, but it is gonna look really, well, hopefully it's gonna look really good at the end, because this is the most expensive car I've ever worked on or owned in my life, and if it doesn't look good, then man, I really shouldn't be doing this anymore. Now the question remains, is that Matt Farah's million-mile Lexus? Yes. Moving on to the Lambo, we have, well, my Lambo. You guys know this car, and I haven't really driven it much. I do still have to do the paperwork to get it registered, which I'm a little bit apprehensive on, just because it's going to be a lot of money to register it, and I do really want to do it. Some of you have noticed that it has a little bit of oil coming out, like the oil smoke. That's not really a big deal. These do burn oil on startup. I'm not concerned about that. It does not burn oil when it's under boost, and it doesn't burn oil under deceleration, which means that the engine and all that stuff is fine. I did so many iterations of oil lines and scavenge pumps and restrictors and all that stuff to make sure that this oil system works as it should and doesn't leak. But I probably still have a leak somewhere under there. Yeah, who knows? But this thing is always going to be, it's a huge project. And of course, the top is something that is continuing. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And I have to get that checked out by a local shop here. But in order to do that, I have to get the car on the road. And I definitely want to get it on the road, because I did go for a drive with Mr. Regular. And he was, well, he liked the car, but he said that it was very hard to drive. And I don't think it's that hard to drive. I just think Mr. Regular's a little bit of a... So on to this car. This is my $11,000 Bentley that I got from Tyler Hoover, and the engine is about to come out. This is going to be the next thing that I work on, because all it needs is an engine. All it needs is an engine. So it's looking pretty good here. I mean, it is really clean, and I'm gonna keep it like this. I have new tires for it, and the engine is somewhere over there, and I have to take out the engine. Comes out from the bottom, which is gonna be interesting. I've never done that before, but in the next coming episodes, I'm gonna be working on this all week. So if you guys don't hear from me for a while, then maybe send help, because I might have been crushed by a Bentley engine. But on top of those projects, I also did get something that you guys haven't seen yet, and I'm not going to unveil until I get some of these projects done. I don't want to be in the situation where I just have projects pile on top of projects, which has been the case. So you're gonna get a new car reveal sometime in the future, probably after this Bentley comes in, or probably when this goes out for paint, because that's gonna take quite a while, probably gonna take a few weeks. And in that time, I'm also gonna do the interior and also send out some of the interior parts to get done in a very interesting material that you guys haven't seen before. Oh yeah, I think I bought another car on top of that. Okay, in any case, this makes me excited. That makes me really excited. The fact that we can now start on the Ferrari build. So feel free to join me. Feel free to subscribe, hit that notification bell, because I'm not gonna be doing much of anything other than these. So I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Until next time, this is me reminding you guys that on cars like all of these, they all need their own amount of work, but they're all gonna turn out to be awesome. You guys need to wrench every day.